world champions for the 27th time. The Lakers repeat back-to-back titles. The LA Lakers. Back to throw Montana. Step up throws. This fight is over. Floyd Mayweather has a knockout victory over Ricky Hatton. Smiling. Oh! He slapped him! Conor McGregor is the new UFC featherweight champion of the world! Oh, unbelievable!
Put the countdown mic up! Hell no!
All right, people. That's right. Championship rounds. This is episode 24. Is back in your livelihoods, in your lives. It's me again, Marcel Pierre, per norm, per usual, per all of the above. 1 second, I got a text. Let's see. I will have to read that later. Yeah, so Brandon, if you're watching, I'll get to that later. Anyways, so, with that being said, Championship Rounds is back. Now, I was going to come back and cover UFC 263. It's a big marquee pay-per-view on the horizon. However, there is a UFC Fight Night headlined by Jairzinho Rozenstruik and Augusto Sakai, I believe. I'm not going to cover that today. There's some people on the card, you got Alir Latifi, Mr. Finland, Makwan Amirkhani. There's some people on the card. I'll probably be making bets. I'll post my picks to my Facebook page or to my Twitter or Instagram handle, before the fights take off. And also, in addition to that, also this weekend, and it's not Saturday night, which is traditionally fight night. No, it's going to occur on Sunday night, and I'm talking about Floyd Money Mayweather versus Logan Paul. Yeah, that's happening on Sunday. The weigh-ins are going to be on Saturday. The bells and whistles will be there. So if you're going to check that out, go ahead and do it, because your boy will be watching, and I'm definitely going to have something to say once all the smoke clears. But let's go ahead and get into the meat and potatoes of why I'm here today. And why I'm here today is to discuss the upcoming bout between the chosen one, Tyron Woodley, against, and I already said against, I think, but he's facing the problem child, Jake Paul. I mention him a lot on this show. He's doing a lot. Let me go ahead and set the table for this, all right? Tyron Woodley is one of the greatest welterweights to ever compete in mixed martial arts, all right? He's going in there against a YouTuber turned boxer. Now, I think it's fair to say that Tyron is not the Tyron he used to be. Tyron is 39, 40 years old right now. He's got age on him, okay? He's no spring chicken anymore, all right? So, with that being said, this fight is going to occur at 190 pounds. Now, just like the Askren fight, I was like, okay, well, this guy's competed at welterweight his whole career. What is a 190-pound Askren going to look like? What is a 190-pound Tyron Woodley going to look like? What is his skill set going to entail? He already doesn't have the biggest gas tank in the sport, that's really putting it on a grandiose scale. He doesn't have a big gas tank, all right? He don't. He's got big punches. He's got wrestling. Doesn't have the gas tank. So you put 20 more pounds on this 170-pounder, career 170-pounder, what is that going to do to his gas tank? Will he need a gas tank? I don't know. And I'm not going to go out and say what I think is going to occur right now. I actually got a few sound bites that I'm gonna play. And a few videos that have occurred, because I want to set the table fully for this bout. All right, and obviously, if anybody's watching this and they're interested in this fight, they're probably privy to what happened to Ben Askren. All right, well, they might not have caught everything that occurred during all of the pageantry of that, because there was a ton of pageantry. I mean, it was like a concert. I saw people slapping the shit out of each other mid-match. It was part of the show. It wasn't in the crowd. It was part of the show. Yes, a slapping contest. But again, we're not gonna talk about all that right now. We're gonna talk about why this fight is happening. And to fully set the table, I'm gonna go ahead and run the first clip of what occurred in the locker room when Woodley was in there to represent Askren's camp to watch Jake's gloves being wrapped. And without further ado, I'm gonna go ahead and run that. So here you go.
You don't know about no boxing gloves. You don't know about no boxing gloves, man. You don't know about no gloves, man. You don't really like you know about these, man. You know about these. You know I can fight, though.
Go for the clout.
I ain't never doing it for the club.
Chasing.
I do this.
Chasing.
I do this.
Chasing.
I do this, champ.
I got my belts. It's my dog day.
My dog dad.
You don't know about these, though. You don't know about these, though. Young blood.
You trying to amp himself up into one?
No, I'm just saying. Me? Never. Come on, man. You can't with me any day of the week.
Whoa.
What's your name again?
J. Leon Love.
Jillian Love.
Yeah. Yep. Sign to Al Hammond.
Jay Leon.
Been the champ already. Did that. I got my belts too, champ.
Got my
I'm
belts.
already Hall of Fame, bro.
That's cool. That's good. You still can't with me.
No.
All right, my
If
man.
we talking about that,
Ain't no money behind you, bro.
ain't no money behind you. Your just went down, didn't
Ain't
it?
no money behind you.
Did your stock just go down?
My stock still there.
Your stock ain't there, what?
My stock still there. And I got 5 world titles.
You don't know about these.
I got 5 world
You don't know
titles.
about these, young champ.
I got 5 world
Young
titles.
champ, you don't know about these.
All right,
Man, you don't know about these.
I got 5 world titles. That's all I gotta say.
Now he gets into it with, well, not gets into it, he starts talking with Jake more.
I know you're gonna win. That's all.
Okay, so let's make a bet. How much you put up? We'll match it. We'll match whatever number you want. Gentlemen's bet.
Yeah, I need to focus on the fight.
We are.
I don't play. Number one, I don't play games. That's what
Sounds like you're playing right now.
Yeah.
'Cause you said
Playing Jake's game.
You really know how I get down. You know I
I'm
don't
not
play
playing Jay
games.
Leon Love game.
Get down to it.
well, you just said your boy's gonna win, but you won't bet on it.
I was verified before fighting, so that's what y'all need to recognize.
Oh, I mean, we in the same field, baby.
QJ Leon Love.
We do this, you know that. We in the same field, baby.
Squeeze it right.
You ain't saying nothing but a word, you feel me? I'm just saying, you ain't saying nothing but a word.
You know, I'm sure when Woodley walked in there and he was watching the gloves being wrapped and Buddy starts chirping, I'm sure he thought exactly what Conor McGregor thought. Let's go ahead and get that soundbite because it's pertinent.
Who the fuck is that guy? Who the fuck is that?
Which is probably what all of America and beyond was thinking. Nobody knows who this guy is unless you're some hardcore. You gotta say hardcore twice, because one hardcore ain't gonna get it. You're not gonna know who the hell this guy is with one hardcore. You gotta be a hardcore boxing fan to know who this guy is. Talking about, yeah, signed to Al Hammond. Name drop. Who's Al Hammond? The guy that's behind Floyd Mayweather, PBC. That guy, yeah, name drop. Been the champ. I got my belts already too, champ. Nobody knows. Been the champ of what? What organization of boxing were you champion of? Nobody knows. So I think you're using this whole moment, this show, not showcase, but platform as a self-promotion. Because nobody, when you're walking out with Jake, when you're seeing in training videos with Jake, nobody's looking like Leonardo DiCaprio pointing you out and be like, oh, that's Jay Leon Love. He signed Al Heyman. He been the champ already. He got his belts. Nobody said that. Nobody knows. So I guess you did well to educate people on whom the hell is speaking, but nobody's there to see you. Woodley's not going to fight you. At least, I mean, as of right now, I don't think so. I mean, he knocks out your boy, maybe something like that can go down, because obviously the groundwork has been laid, so to speak. But yeah, like and then okay, so fast forward, so then Jake is suggesting that Woodley make a bet. You're so confident that Ashton's gonna win. You're so confident. You know, even if I was 100% confident, I was in that position, I wouldn't bet against my buddy. I wouldn't. So I'm not doing that. You know, and as far as the trainer, the Jay Leon Love character, like, okay, I get it. You got Jake's back, but you're really not really doing anything or saying anything for Jake or on Jake's behalf or in Jake's defense. You are promoting yourself. So I guess that is a part of the contract that you got with this guy. Hey, fair play to you. But yeah, I just wanted you guys to see the first, you know, verbal meeting, the physical meeting, you know, with Paul and Woodley, you know, in lieu of this matchup that has been announced. All right, I keep looking at the camera here, but really it's here. Yeah, it's we're getting there. All right, so based on that, the whole locker room incident, Woodley actually went on Ariel Helwani, and he, you know, pretty much responded to it. So I'm going to go ahead and play that, and then I'm going to pretty much tell you what I think, and you guys can take from it what you think. I mean, here we go, though. Woodley on Ariel Helwani.
I get to the locker room and shake Jake's gloves, and the person that never spoken ever, that was so quiet, walks around like, oh, you don't know nothing about these gloves. That's a little clip that everybody see. Yep. And it's like, in my mind, I know what he's doing. First thing Jake said was, oh, you here for clout. I said, don't play with me. You know I don't play those games. At that point, he froze up. So his act and his little character was stifled, because he really don't, those guys are fans of mine. He really don't want to play those games because you know what I can do. Whether I've done it in my last fights or not, you know what I can do, right? So then the dude came around and he was like at this point I'm like, I know what he's doing. He's trying to boost himself and trying to make a confrontation like we know in sports, a press conference, and so he can build a reason for me and him to fight.
Exactly what I just said.
He's a fighter that probably is out of the boxing arena, and he probably see an opportunity in a short boxing thing that makes some quick money and want to try to utilize me, my name, utilize my affiliation with being in Ben's corner, walking in the locker room, Jake. And it's really kind of pathetic and sad to try to use that to get a fight to make money. So I called him out on it. I said, I know what you're doing, dog, but I say ain't no money behind you. He's like, ain't no money behind you. And he started naming out his resume. So at this time, I'm thinking like, my mom just told me to take a shield pill. But in my mind, he was already knocked out. I'm already looking at his face. I'm already looking at where I'm going to punch him. I'm already thinking about just throwing everything in my body through this face. And at that point, I had already played this out of my mind. This was on the ground. And now I'm looking, because ain't nobody going to run right to it. You knock somebody down, you see somebody get knocked out in the street, ain't nobody rushing to the scene that you try to get in on. They want to just knock them out. Now, they obligated to do something, so I'm already looking at the next biggest, that's next to Jake, and I'm like, he going to get hit next. But then I started thinking, what does your mom say? Let Ben make his payday. This ain't your show. This ain't about you. If you ever see me since the Eve Edwards day, you'll never see me in the camera. You'll never see me
getting off
put his
subject.
Shirt on, pop, make sure it's good, push him in the middle.
He rounds it back around though.
I have my moments. I have my time. That was Ben's time. But the second Ben got done in the fight, and he got on the conference, said, I want to see Tyron fight Jake. Now it's green light. Now where's all that talk he was talking? Now everybody that he's talking about is opposite of me. Dustin Poirier and Conor McGregor and Nate Diaz. No, fight me. I'm your same weight. You know what I mean? You had a lot to say in the locker room. Let's fight. And that's when you hear the crickets, because some people are really built for this and some people not. It's not even an MMA fighter fighting a YouTuber. It's a man fighting a man. You want to talk? Let's handle it. let's handle it. Let's get paid for it. And I just really don't think he got the balls. I don't
Get
think
that
he'll do
paper.
it.
Get the bag.
He's doing the old. Remember the old days when they used to build somebody up and they protected them so well, and we all knew it was a show, but we rolled with it because it was kind of fun. It's kind of entertaining. He's on that same thing. You know what I mean? He didn't pick out me. He didn't pick out Masvidal. He didn't pick out Conor. He didn't pick out, people that are known to throw hands. He didn't pick that guy. He picked out Ben Askren because he felt like, okay.
I do want to add that all those guys he named are under contract. Ben Askren was retired.
So this would be a more fair fight.
Now Woodley is cut from the UFC.
Top fighter. So that's kind of how the cookie crumbled. But now we just at the point right now where I want to hear what he's gonna say. I want to hear what he got to say about it. You want to fight me? He can fight me. I'll fight his friend in MMA because I want to elbow his ass. I don't want no little boxing.
But he got to get it in the cage.
I want to hit his face. I want to almost break his arm and just let him out. And so if his boy want to fight me, he got to come see me in the cage.
Well, spoken loud and clear. So the actual professional boxer is going to have to come to his world. But he'll get in there with Jake Paul. And obviously this has already occurred. This interview's already happened because that's why we're here. The fight has been announced. The fight is happening. Jake Paul versus Tyron Woodley. So Tyron goes on a tangent on Ariel Helwani saying how he didn't call out this guy. He didn't call out that guy. Fight me, fight me, fight me. All right, well, this has got layers to it, if you ask me, okay? There's 2 layers. The first layer is Woodley is cut from the UFC, no longer under contract. Why was he cut? 4 consecutive losses. Is that enough to be cut when you're a former world champion, one that was considered and still is one of the greatest welterweight champions to do it? That's up for debate. That's for you to decide. But my point in mentioning that is that the UFC has cut people for less. People that are decorated like Tyron? No. But Cowboy Cerrone's still part of the UFC. How many has he lost in a row? Tomatoes and oranges. Or apples and oranges, rather. What am I doing? What was my point in that? My point in saying that is this. Alright? He's cut from the UFC, so he's a mixed martial artist. He's not ready to retire. He's older in age, fighting his whole career at 170 pounds. Okay, so his options are, does he go to PFL and try to get in their tournament, try to win the Millie? Does he sign a contract with Bellator and join the likes of Douglas Lima in their welterweight division? Or does he go to one championship or Risen, somewhere in Japan, somewhere in Asia? Does he want to do that? I mean, do you want to fight across the pond the rest of your career? Okay, so my point is, this is the perfect match for him. As he's already came out and said that would be the biggest purse of his career. The man has 5 world titles. No, he didn't win 5 championships, separate from one another. No, he won the title. He knocked out Robbie Lawler. He went in there and defended the belt against Wonder Boy Thompson. Yes, once was a draw, majority draw, I believe. But one of the judges had it for him. Neither here nor there, majority draw. But then he defeated Wonder Boy. Then he defeated Darren Till. You know what I mean? So the man has definitely went in there and has, won some matches. I mean, Damian Maia, you know what I mean? So, okay. So where does he go from here? Okay, his stock has been diminished, obviously. I mean, you saw what happened when he was just in there. His last fight in the UFC, he's in there with Vicente Luque, another very seasoned striker, and he gave it all he could, but his chin just didn't have it. And he ended up getting dropped, getting wobbly legs, and then getting strangled. That was his last outing. He's 39 years old. I don't know when his birthday is. Maybe he even turns 40 before the fight. I think the fight's next month. I don't know the man's birthday. Okay, so you can look that up. Jake Paul knocked out a YouTuber. Knocked out Ben Askren, a wrestler who was a mixed martial artist, champion mixed martial artist. Way past his prime, though. And also, NBA player Nate Robinson, who looked like he'd never been in a fight in his life, the way he was rushing into those punches with his chin up. But, yeah, perfect scenario for Tyron Woodley. Like, win or lose, get that money. No, this is not an admission of him losing, but win or lose, get that money, boy. Get it. You know? So, I'm gonna get away from that because I got a few more clips. I don't want this to go on that long. So we got the locker room incident. We got Woodley's response. We're gonna go now to what more mainstream perspective. Now, everybody wants to give Stephen A. Smith. Yeah, this is a message from Stephen A. Smith. They don't want, hardcores don't want him inside the space of mixed martial arts because he hasn't paid his dues, so to speak. And a lot of people, large in part, don't think he knows what he's talking about. Maybe he doesn't. He probably doesn't. There's so many nuances to mixed martial arts that somebody can't just, okay, I work for a sporting company. Oh, you're going to pay me to cover this sport? Oh, I don't really watch this sport, but I'm going to watch it now and know exactly what I'm looking at? No. But people hire Stephen A. and want him to speak about sports is because he makes inflammatory comments, hot takes. You know, that'll get people talking one way or another. You can agree with this man, you can disagree with this man, but you're talking about him. And that's why he gets paid the big bucks to discuss these things. But without further ado, let's go ahead and go to Stephen A. and see what his take is on this fight booking.
According to a report by The Athletic, Jake Paul has his next opponent lined up. Former UFC welterweight champion Tyron Woodley. The fight will be Paul's fourth of his boxing career and Woodley's first as a boxer. Let me say this. I am not impressed, not one bit. While Logan Paul is taking fights way over his head, getting in the ring with boxing royalty like Floyd Money Mayweather, risking a beatdown for the ages, by the way. Jake Paul is going the opposite direction.
The opposite?
The complete opposite direction. Fighting non-boxers. In his first 3 career boxing matches, Jake Paul fought a YouTuber, a former NBA player, Nate Robinson, and a former UFC fighter in Ben Askren, who was primarily a wrestler that showed up in the octagon. Not an actual boxer in the bunch. And look, I know that's fine. That's fine. You have to ease into this. I get all of that. But at some point, you have to fight a real boxer, Jake. You have to fight someone with some muscle memory in the sport. I don't give a damn if it's an amateur. Doesn't even have to be a pro. Just somebody with muscle memory for actually boxing. Not somebody like Woodley, who's a UFC fighter and a mixed martial artist and a wrestler and all of that.
Facts.
Woodley's not much different than Ben Askren. I promise you he's a better boxer. He certainly is a better puncher.
100%.
But he's not a boxer. Remember Askren, who Paul took out by TKO in the first round back in April? Looking like he was fighting in the 1930s? With his hands like this, remember that? A UFC guy, past his prime. Askren and Woodley. Hey, y'all, they even wrestled together back in college. Wrestled, not box. And if Jake Paul is ever going to get the respect in boxing that I know he wants, he has to face real opponents. And let me say this about Jake Paul. I love the attention he's bringing to the sport of boxing. That's a good thing. And I respect his business savvy. I get it. Jake Paul is good for the sport of boxing. But here's the thing.
Is it? Is he?
It isn't really boxing.
We'll get to that.
If you're not fighting an actual boxer. At some point in time, we do have to say that. Love Jake Paul, root for him. Make that money, bro. But could you fight somebody with muscle memory as a boxer?
That's a good point. Muscle memory. Boxing muscle memory. Like, what is muscle memory for you guys that, you know, might not know that? Like, things your body, like, just the memory of your body. It's in the word. It's in the memory of your muscles. When you're used to doing something, when you're used to doing this, you're used to reacting this way. Any sport, anything that you do, you have your body naturally performs it because you have so many repetitions of doing it that it also is just second nature to you, to your body. That's what it is. So when we look at Tyron Woodley and we're like, oh my God, Tyron Woodley he's knocked out, boys. You saw what he did to Josh Koscheck? Knocked his ass out. You saw what he did to Dong Young Kim? Knocked his ass out. Robbie Lawler knocked his fucking ass out. So we're like, oh damn, dude, Tyron Woodley is a devastating striker. And then on the other hand, you got YouTuber Jake Paul, who's knocked out Ben Askren, some other YouTuber that I don't even know your name, and Nate Robinson. Of course we got Woodley. Woodley's hands, they're registered. Okay, all right, that's fine. But Woodley does have muscle memory. And I'm sure he's got some boxing muscle memory. But he is a mixed martial artist, a wrestler turned mixed martial artist. And in mixed martial arts, it's not just about the punches to the head and the punches to the body, the footwork. No disrespect to the sweet science whatsoever. I respect the sweet science wholeheartedly. All I'm saying is that in MMA, you have to be a complete mixed martial artist. You have to be able to grapple, not just wrestling, but jiu-jitsu. You have to be able to perform in clinch situations, in striking situations. The range is completely different. You have elbows, knees added to the equation, kicks to the body, to the legs, to the head. Like, that's what you're getting ready for as a mixed martial artist. Now, Jake Paul has clearly been training only boxing. He's not worried about the other things. He doesn't have to spend time doodadding with anything else but boxing. Now, say what you want about who he's knocked out, and I've seen some training footage from him. And I'm impressed with what I saw. He was obviously it was in a highlight film, and he's in there with, taxi drivers in there, but you get it. He can box. He knows how to throw a punch. He knows how to get under his punches. He knows it's completely different boxing is what I'm trying to get at without running on any further. Okay? So, with that being said, Stephen A said that Jake Paul and maybe even he meant both the Paul brothers are good for boxing. Good from what perspective? The perspective that they're putting eyeballs on the sport? They're putting eyeballs on the sport? I mean, can't just good championship level boxers put eyeballs on the sport? Is it really good that it's turning into a circus? A celebrity death match? Without the death, obviously. That was an homage to MTV. But is that really good for the sport? I mean, I don't know if it is good for the sport. I mean, it's good. Maybe it's getting younger eyeballs on the sport, but are they really going to stick around to watch the Teofimo Lopez's of the world? You know what I mean? The Devin Haney's of the world? Are they sticking around for those guys after watching a Paul bout? No. Their interest solely lies in the freak show that it is. And I can call it a freak show because I'm gonna watch. Okay? I'm all in. I want to see what happens, and you probably are too. Something is gonna go down. Believe me that. I mean, believe you me. Like Bisping says. But yeah, I don't want to get too ahead of myself here. So we got Stephen A, his take on it. You can respect that or not. He makes good points. He hasn't fought any official boxers. And another good point is that people are like, oh, well, he's 3-0. What 3-0 guy do you know who's going in there with killers? Nobody. They might not be going in there with killers, people, but what they are going in there with is other boxers. You get what I'm saying? Like, they might not be killers, but they're other boxers. People that are training boxing. That's what they are. So, take that for what it's worth. Or don't. So, where do we go from here? You got the locker room incident. You got Woodley's response on Helwani. You got Stephen A's reaction. And now I'm going to cut to the American Gangster who poses this question. Like, what significance does this fight potentially have? Like, why are they fighting? Go ahead. I act like I got him here. I'm gonna go ahead and play this clip. This is what Chael's take on it is, so to speak.
And I think he has shown not only skill with the Askren fight, but also a sincerity in even taking the T Wood fight. I think he has shown us that he at least believes what it is he means, but what it is he's saying, what it is he's here for. And is it just to beat big name guys up? It's not enough for me. It's not enough for me. I just think we could do more with the Paul experiment and experience. If he comes out and tells us, and I really think he's in a place now because now he's proven, right? The problem child is now a proven child. He's proven he'll do the hard work. He's proven he'll do the media. He's proven he'll make weight. He's proven he'll step in there at an agreed upon time with an agreed upon opponent. He's proven that he will take the baddest free agents out there that he can get in there with. I mean, he really has proven this. You guys got to give him this. You got to give him this. In the world of sportsmanship, we got to give him, man. He's believing what it is he's selling, and nobody showed him wrong yet. So why are we here? What is this for? How far are we planning to go? There has to be some way to cap off the evening, but the evening is a microcosm of the career. Right? You got to have March Madness. You got to have the Final Four. You got to fight at Madison Square Garden, whatever it may be, but we have to finish the evening with the trophy, with the medal, with the belt, or with the heartache and sorrow of embarrassment, which is how most fighters end their career. In fact, every fighter that isn't named Lennox Lewis or George St. Pierre, or Khabib Nurmagomedov now gets to be part of that list of three, all finish their career the same way, which is heartbroken and embarrassed in front of the world. But it's also that risk and that vulnerability that keeps this whole machine moving forward, and I don't know what that answer is. I think I could say it for T Wood. Why are you here? Because the guy just beat up your friend. Damn good answer. It's a damn good answer.
I didn't mention that.
This country went to war one time in 2004, and when they asked our president why he went to war, he said on worldwide TV, because the guy I just attacked tried to kill my dad. And you know what? It was a really weird reason to go to war, and everybody stood down and accepted it. We just seem to understand that on a human level. I bring you that example because the mere fact that T Wood is going to step in to defend his friend, that's a real story.
Okay, yeah, that is a perspective, yeah, but I don't think it's just about his friend, getting beat. I'm sure that plays a factor. So, but I really think the biggest reason is the potential payday and the fact that Woodley thinks that, this isn't going to be a fight at all. Like, he's going to go in there and knock him out. Like, he doesn't respect, even after seeing what Jake has done, clearly Woodley doesn't respect Jake's boxing because he's oozing in confidence. So, why are they fighting? Oh, is it because Jake knocked out Ben Askren? Yeah, that plays a factor. Obviously, if that never happened, this fight probably wouldn't be the one right now. It has a storyline to it, as Chael put. There is a story. But why are they fighting? I'm going to tell you why I think they're fighting. I already did. The payday, and it's another fight where Jake Paul could take another MMA guy, another guy that doesn't train just boxing, that has no, as Stephen A put, boxing muscle memory, who is, again, post-prime, 39, gonna be 40, you know what I mean, coming off of 4 losses, but he's got a name, and belts behind that name, and this is gonna potentially boost Jake's notoriety, who just signed with Showtime. My question is, what does Showtime do with Jake if Woodley goes in there and starches him? But what do they do with him if Jake Paul goes in there and puts Woodley down? That's a good question. I mean, that's probably why they signed him, because I'm sure they could go either way. The man comes with a built-in audience. Built in. I'm going to go ahead and play Woodley's Instagram live of what he thought, well, his pretty much reaction to the fight actually being signed. As you know, he called out Jake on Ariel Helwani. You know, he was saying he wanted to fight him in the locker room. So this is how he responded once the fight has been made official.
So we back at it, August 28th. You would visualize
That's the fight, August 28th.
Jake Paul getting his head knocked smooth off his neck. Sometimes you talk yourself into a situation that you can't back yourself out of. My mom used to say this all the time. What's up, my man, Jerry? My mom used to say, your mouth wrote a check that your ass can't cash. And all the blah, blah, blah. I'm a fighter. All the MMA guys don't ever want to fight me. Now you got a motherfucker that's going to fight you like you ain't never been fought before. Ain't no sparring you can do to motherfucking get ready for it. Ain't no meditation. Ain't no kumbaya. Ain't no mama say, makusa. Ain't shit you can do. You can your ass beat. So I'm pumped up about it. I was quiet. I let him do his little bling, bling, bling. Say whatever he wanted to say. My dog, like I said before, it was my dog's chance to fight. It wasn't not my fight. It was not my fight. These dudes out here for the clout. He came into this shit off clout. His cornerman's out for the clout. Everybody out for clout. Now your clout finna get you hit in the motherfucking mouth. So, appreciate you guys. Stay tuned. It's gonna be a movie. It's gonna be a movie for sure.
It's going to be a movie, he says. Okay, well, that sounds real good, but you know, I've pretty much been hearing that for 4 fights. I mean, Usman out wrestled you and outstruck you on the ground or on the feet anyways, because you weren't throwing volume. You know, Gilbert Burns outstruck you on the feet because you weren't throwing volume. Out-grappled you too. Colby Covington would have probably TKO'd you, let's be honest. What did, actually, because you left with a rib injury, which probably plays a factor. You had a rib injury, you could probably injure your rib again. And then, to put the icing on the cake, you were battered and strangled by Vicente Luque. No, I like Tyron Woodley. And don't say Tyron Woodley. Let me get that out. I hate when people say Tyron Woodley. It's Tyron. Tyron Woodley. Not Tyrone. Whoever, like, it's Tyron. It's not hard to say that. Tyron. 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 Not really run, but you get what I'm saying. It's not Tyron. Don't say that. But it's Tyron, not Tyrone. I'd rather you say the other. Just don't say Tyrone. And now I've lost my place. What was I talking about? What did I just listen to? His Instagram live. He's confident. Yes, the icing on the cake, he was battered and strangled by Vicente Luque. Now, he might be very, very confident that, okay, these guys are world-class strikers. 100% they are. And that's to be respected. That is to be respected. But it's not boxing. And I fell into that when I was thinking of the Ben Askren Jake Paul fight. I was thinking, this guy is an Olympian. He went undefeated in Bellator. I respect Andrei Koreshkov, who he beat and dominated. I respect Douglas Lima, who he beat and dominated. You get where I'm going with this? Then he goes to one. More of the same. Undefeated. I respect mixed martial arts. Comes to UFC. Obviously, he'd been retired. So he's obviously not in his prime anymore. Gets in there with Robbie Lawler. Controversial win. Not going to go into it. Gets in there with Gamebred Masvidal. Fastest knockout in UFC history. Not going to get into it. And then he gets in there with a grappler, a jiu-jitsu player, Damian Maia. Very, very old. Been in the UFC for forever. Fought Anderson Silva in his heyday for the title. Back at 185 pounds. He's been at 170 pounds now for years. So, Anyways, he was outstruck by Maia and finished by Maia, submitted by Maia. So that's his UFC career. Obviously, the man went undefeated for years. You can say, oh, well, he wasn't fighting UFC guys. But like I said, I respect Koreshkov. I respect Douglas Lima like a mother. So it is what it is. Askren dominated him. Askren's one of the greatest wrestlers to do it. But this ain't wrestling, and this ain't MMA. This is boxing. So I'm just saying, like, Woodley is the same way. We're like, oh, he's knocked out all these people. These world-class strikers, Woodley's put him down. He's a dog. He's an animal. Very true. All of that is true. And I'm not taking anything away from that. Like I said, I respect mixed martial arts, but this is not mixed martial arts. I can't say that enough. So where do we go from here? Dana White, UFC president, who, you know, was saying he was going to bet $1 million that Askren beat Paul. And then later on retracted by saying, why would I bet these guys $1 million when Vegas is giving me these odds? Why would I bet these guys for even money? Okay, all right, whatever. You're the one that said it, but neither here nor there. Then you hook Askren up with, you know, Freddie Roach, wild card, I believe the gym is. You know, you're like, there's no way this YouTube kid's gonna, you know, even though you know Askren's not a boxer, not a striker, even when he was undefeated, he wasn't knocking boys out on the feet or damaging them on the feet like that. He'll TKO you, but it's just volume. He'll get you real tired. You won't be able to be intelligently defend yourself anymore. And that's how he'd stop you when he stopped people. But now you come. But so now you seen him put him down. Now this is Dana White's take on this potential Woodley matchup. You see, I'll say what I'm going to say about this after.
Tyron Woodley has punching power, and you know, obviously he's put a lot of dudes to sleep in his career. Tyron Woodley doesn't look like, you know, the Tyron Woodley of the past that was putting everybody to sleep. He hasn't won a fight in 3 years. He's going to be 40 years old, you know. But I will give it to him. He's at least stepping in there with a guy who can punch. Well, I'd have to go with Woodley by knockout. Listen, man, Woodley should knock him out. But again, the Tyron Woodley you talk about that was the champ isn't the same guy he was, you know, 4 years ago.
So why doesn't Dana White really like this fight? He signed off on Ben Askren. He can't really stop Tyron Woodley from making this fight because he cut him. And why would I say stop? Because he stopped Oscar De La Hoya from boxing George St. Pierre. He doesn't like Oscar De La Hoya. The two don't get along. Oscar challenged Dana to a fight, as wild as that sounds. But he doesn't like Oscar De La Hoya. Not to mention, why would he want George St. Pierre, all respect to him, to get into a boxing match with Oscar De La Hoya and potentially be finished putting a stain on mixed martial arts, so to speak, if you even think that way. But that's what it is. Now Tyron Woodley's getting in there with this YouTuber. If Dana White's former employees, I know they're independent contractors or whatever it is, but another guy that fought in the UFC gets knocked out by the YouTuber again, doesn't look good for UFC fighters. People don't understand that it's different from boxing to that nature. They just take it for what it is on the surface. UFC fighter knocked the hell out by YouTuber. You know what I mean? Like, they obviously, if it was an MMA fight, not even close. But then when something like that happens, it gives everybody the green light to absolutely shit all over MMA boxing. And I don't think that's justifiable. I don't. But yeah, that's my point. You know, Dana probably doesn't like these fights getting put together like this. But who knows? One day Dana might actually try to work with this kid. You know what I mean? If the money's really there, it's been there so far, so to speak. But Dana's picking Tyron Woodley by knockout, and obviously, I mean, why would he go out there and say? He could say he didn't have a pick or didn't care. But yeah, that's just another wrinkle to it. Like, the UFC president is weighing in on, that was on Mike Schwick's podcast. He's weighing in on what could potentially happen. Like, he's talking about it. Like at the press conference for the last fight, he was asking the media, you know what I mean, the reporters, to just not ask them questions about him. Like, they don't have any, he doesn't want to have any dealings with him. Stop calling him. All of this and all of that. So, I mean, we'll see what happens. I mean, the kid signed the Showtime, even though Dana doesn't have a good relationship with Showtime because of Steven Espinoza and all that stuff that happened up to the Mayweather McGregor fight. But we're not going to get into that. We're going to stay on topic because we're just about out of here. The last thing I want to play is the first face-off with Jake Paul and Woodley. And it pretty much went down like this.
Good. We're going to face off. All right, let's face it off. Big fight here announced. Woodley has won a fight, 4 fights. Jake Paul is saying he's the king of boxing, biggest draw there is. MMA guys saying it's all on him. Boxing versus MMA. Neither of you.
Who do you work for?
What's the big fight? That's what people are coming to see.
Lost 4 out of 1 4. Not anymore. Not anymore. Can't pay rent with those belts. What have I done? I gave Disney Gucci collab. Disney Gucci collab. Yeah, you're about to get beat up by a Disney kid. It's going to be pretty embarrassing for you. It's going to be pretty embarrassing for you. Hey, what have I done? What have I done? What have I done? Giving you the biggest payday of your life. You were broke. You lost 4 fights. You're 40 years old. We'll see. I like when I get in front of you. Yeah. Well, I saw some bad fucking breath. You don't know about that. You don't know about that boxing love. You don't know about that boxing love. What do you know about it? You don't know about it. You fought 3 times in your life. You don't know about it. I was just hard. Yeah, I was on Disney. I was on Disney. That's great. Now I do. I get paid. You can fight in the street all you want. You can fight in the street. Yeah. Hey, remember when I reached out to your best friend? What you gonna do differently? What you gonna do differently? Because you were coaching your best friend. What you gonna do differently? Don't bitch out. Everybody here. You were coaching your best friend. I know time. Adding a no bitch out clause to this dude. Once you start seeing the training and grinding, you don't fucking no bitch. Yeah.
That wouldn't be a good look.
Where you trainers at? Don't hit him too hard.
You lost 4 fights in a row. You're 39 years old. And you're a range. You're a bitch. Stronger. Weak, younger, faster, better, stronger. And your first round, first round. Benjamin, hashtag Benjamin. You're going down the whole round, just like your best friend. Just like your best friend. If you're so confident, listen up. If you're so confident, if you win, I'll double your purse. If you win, I'll double your purse. But if you lose,
They're always trying to make bets. Alright, I'm just gonna go out there and say it. The song that Woodley keeps, rapping, if you will, the I'll Beat Your Ass, never listened to it. I think it even has Wiz Khalifa in it as well. Never heard it. And I'm not gonna go listen to it when I'm done here either. Or any other time in the foreseeable future. So, that's all the time I'm gonna spend on that song. But I don't know. Woodley's always confident. You gotta be, I guess. It's bravado, if anything. You know what I mean? You gotta believe what you're saying, too. Gotta be able to perform. Nobody would accept that bet of... You know what kind of humiliation you would get if you got knocked out by the YouTuber and was forced to give your purse to a charity of your opponents, the YouTuber's choosing? Or, hey, don't give it to him, and then how bad of a look that would be after getting knocked out, and you're saying, no, I'm not going to keep my word. I'm not going to honor the bet that I honored publicly. That I accepted publicly. So it was a lose-lose. So I guess that was good, you know what I mean? You know, a way to push that aside to keep rapping that song. But I saw a graphic that said that since Tyron Woodley released the song, I'll Beat Your Ass, or whatever it's called, he hasn't beat anybody's ass since. That's just irony. But yeah, fight's happening August 28th. Again, that is Tyron Woodley versus Jake Paul, the younger brother, the problem child versus the chosen one. You know what I mean? 39 years old versus, I don't remember how old Jake is. I'll say it on the next show. Again, this weekend, UFC Fight Night. Rosenstruck, Sakai. I'll come back for my picks on that. I'm just probably going to make a post. Also this weekend, Sunday, Floyd Money Mayweather gets in there with Logan Paul. Exhibition. And get this, before I get out of here, get this. I forgot to even bring this up because I wanted to focus mainly on the Jake Woodley fight. But get this is the rules. There's no judges. You know what I mean? No official winner is going to be read unless this fight ends in a knockout, because the knockouts are legal. But if it goes to a decision, which it's 8 rounds, 8 3-minute rounds, if it goes to a decision, there will not be a winner read off. 12-ounce gloves, no headgear, and it says KO up to referee's discretion, but knockouts are legal. So that's this Sunday, Mayweather, Logan Paul, and I think I pretty much touched on everything I wanted to touch on, so yeah, stay frosty.
I'm about to check, run up my flex, yo bitch on my deck, she give me that neck, wake up and I get it, I give me a tech, won't catch me slipping, I aim at your neck, I'm about to check, run up my flex, yo bitch on my deck, she give me that neck.